What if I told you that the laziest method I've ever used for growing my beets was also the most bountiful? Hello, my name is Ripley. Welcome to Expedition Homestead. What we do here on this channel is build your passion for growing through simple yet effective and affordable means of increasing your harvest and bringing more beauty to our gardens in the backyard here and on the homestead. Today, we're gonna be taking a peek at the beets that we've been growing here using an unusually very simple, easy, foolproof, literally plant the seeds and do nothing type of method for growing these. And I gotta say, I was very surprised by the results that we've gotten.
First, we're going to cut off the tops and feed them to the chickens.
That's right. The first thing that we're gonna be doing is cutting off the tops so we can compost them and then feed them to the chickens. If you would like to, these are also edible, so you can use them in your garden. All right, so we're gonna be cutting off the tops of these so I can give you an overhead look at how we grew them. Let me do that really quick, and then we'll get you in close and talk about the unusual way that we grew these beets. All right, I got all of the tops cut off so we can get a nice overhead look at all of these beets that we've got. Now, it kind of just looks like a normal, nice, decent harvest of beets, right?
Yeah.
Very nice, healthy,
Yeah, and good.
and so good.
Dad,
Can you get some more?
Yay!
Yep, sure.
Ooh.
Some of the best looking beets we've got. For sure. Incredible. Very little insect damage. Thank you.
Dad, this one? Dad,
Yep, all of them.
all of them.
We're gonna have a picking supreme party. Just get them all.
Now look how many I already got. Ew! Look how many I already got.
Good job.
In this pile.
What makes this incredible harvest of beets, I mean, great looking, healthy beets. Oh, what makes these so special and spectacular is that these were the beets that should have, would have, could have been thinned out from the garden. So what we did, we succession planted our beets and our radishes this year. But when we succession planted our beets for the second time, we did something special. When we grew them, we did not thin out the beets whatsoever. So we would have several seeds per inch of beets planted in the garden. Hi, ready for story time?
Yeah.
Ready for story time?
Yeah.
Okay.
These just grow in the garden.
Yes. And so when we succession planted our second crops of beets, we did not thin them whatsoever. And then when we harvested them, we just took out the beets that we got like this size. We have a video of it. We pulled them out of there. So what it looked like when it came time to harvest, because we didn't thin out our beets, was like this. We would have small little beets tucked in here that were clearly struggling and not doing well. Good job. But what we would do is just harvest out the big ones, leaving that tiny little one in there, hoping that it survived. And wouldn't you know it, the small little beets filled in over time. They got all the nutrients that they needed and turned into an entire harvest of vegetables that wouldn't have been there in the first place. So these have been growing in the ground for just about almost 100 days, really, I would say about 90 days. So they were stunted at first. They didn't grow well at first, but once the right environment was in place to let this thing grow, it grew into a completely full plant. Like these look like just completely normal beets. Like we've got a beautiful harvest out of these too. So sometimes it pays off just to be a little bit more lazy in the garden than you've got to. I thought for sure that the stunted beets would have a really, really hard time reaching their full potential and that it would be way too late by the time they did. But here we are, I believe it is August 20th, and it's just in time for our fall crops to get put in. We got really about 5 complete harvests from our beets this year, which is incredible. We've gotten nearly 100 beets so far out of just that tiny little area. One garden bed that we used for the beets and radishes. Whew. It's been such a blessing, and it's been really cool to learn these different things in the garden as well. So this non-thinning with the beets, I'm definitely going to utilize it in my garden next year, as it saved me so much time, and I still got a ton of beets. I mean, more beets than I ever have had in the past, so this is a winning technique in my book. Definitely works for this plant. As far as other vegetables in the garden, you're gonna have to stick around and find out and see, because we're always doing different experiments like this here in our backyard. So with that being said, happy gardening, and I hope to see you all in the next episode.